Okay, well, welcome everyone. This is Mike Dotterer, and I'm live on the dot. And we're going to have our special guest, Quenton Meeks. Quenton Meeks on the dot. He's going to talk about health and wellness and also about his picks for the college, upcoming college games and the NFL games. Quenton, as many of you know, is a professional football player. Uh, and here he comes right now, actually. Add him to the stream. There he is. Hi, Quenton.
Hey Doc, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I was just going to introduce you, and here you are. I love it. So, Quenton, give me the update. What's been happening the last couple weeks? I know we haven't been on for 2 weeks, so give us where have you been and what have you been up to?
Yeah, last week we were in Dallas to see the Euphoria Science Lab in Dallas. So it was exciting to see that. Got to see the biotech lab that makes all the supplements. Got to meet the CEO. Got to meet the chief science officer. So it was great to be there. Got to meet a whole lot of people involved with the company. A lot of great people and all interested in living healthier lifestyles. So it was just a great environment to be around. Got to see the details and what goes into it, and it's fascinating just to see all the details that goes along into making the product itself. From the testing it goes through to make sure that you know it's real, the products that is what it says it is, to cleaning the machines out every time after use. They do a really thorough job, and it just got me even more excited about this. And then yesterday, I had a camp with Hub Football. It was a camp for free agents there, just to get another look, for the NFL. So that went really well. So, it's something kind of in my way right now when it comes to that, but I mean, it is what it is. So.
Yeah, well, I can see you got I've got my Euphoria hat here, and you got what's it say? Being
And you never felt better.
Euphoria.
Yes, you never felt better. And I just actually I have with me, my formula just came in at the end of last week. So excited about that. I've been taking it. It came in. I think it came in Friday. So I got back from Dallas Friday night. So I started taking it on Saturday. So I've been on it for a little less than a week so far. But I eat it with in the morning and at night with breakfast and with dinner. And I mean, I feel great. Like at the camp yesterday, I felt outstanding. I was on pre-nutrition for a whole month, and honestly, I've never felt better. Being out there, my legs felt really fresh. I think it's just my body getting what it needs to get, and then I feel like AC11 is probably playing a factor in that as well. Like I just feel really fresh out there, and taking my personalized formula has been great. So.
Yeah, it is wonderful to know that you're giving your body the fuel it needs to work at the highest level, and that's what's important. I mean, we drive cars all around this country, and we make sure we put the right gas in the car.
Right.
And unfortunately, we need to look at our bodies. Our bodies are more important than the car, because if we don't take care of our bodies, we can't drive the car.
Exactly. Exactly. And you only get one body. Like you can get another car.
Exactly.
Like you only get one of these, so it's a good idea to put the right stuff in it. You can't put gasoline in a diesel truck, so you need to put the right fuel in your body. And I mean, with this, it's like it just looks natural. All the ingredients in there, like all those, and like usually when I would take multivitamins, like I would get about 30 pills for 30 days. This here is 300 over 30 days. So you take 10 a day. So it lets me know I'm getting a lot of stuff when I'm taking this, and it's all being absorbed the right way. And I'm excited. It's been really exciting.
What do for people that are new to Euphoria or don't know much about Euphoria? What makes Euphoria unique from all the other things that you've taken in the past, Quentin?
To me, it's just the fact that it's catered to for you. Like what say, being you never felt better. I mean, it's truth. Like this formula is compounded strictly for me. Like nobody else in the world will get what's in this jar. And the same for yours. Like nobody in the world gets what you get. Like that's the unique thing about this company. And everywhere else, I mean, you go to GNC or your local health food store and you get vitamins, multivitamins, or you get individual supplements or whatever. If you feel like you need to take extra, which you're just guessing because you don't really know if you need that extra, but you're just doing it because it sounds right. And with this, like I know I'm getting exactly what I need for my body, and I mean my body's responded to it really fast. Which people who takes it, it usually takes like some time to really notice the difference because it's something you have to do consistently. Like what it say, health is a habit, not an event. So you have to take this consistently, but I've noticed like pretty quickly, like, the benefits for me. So
Well, it's probably because you're in pretty darn good shape. If that's
I
one of the reasons.
might play a little bit in it, but
Yeah, that you're like a Ferrari, and all of us are we're like beat up Volkswagens.
no. Well, I'm trying to stay like this as long as I can because I know eventually it's gonna go away from me. So
Yeah. Well, again, Euphoria is sponsoring this portion of On the Dot, Quentin Meeks on the Dot, and we're also sponsored by Club Nirvana, which is cannabis. And when people ask me, "Gosh, Mike, how are you staying healthy? How are you keeping young?" And it basically, I use Club Nirvana, which is a virtual dispensary, and it's cannabis. And in Euphoria, those are my two secret weapons. And then we also have in our 401 network portfolio, as you can see over there, is a little logo. We're sponsored by 98 Unlimited and by Super Draft Pro, which is a company that is partnered with Caesars Entertainment. And that's a good segue because it has to do with fantasy sports. And I just picked my picks for tonight's ball game, Quentin. And the question about tonight, Quentin, it's the Denver Broncos going to Cleveland to play the Browns. And we'll start off with that pick. Who's going to be playing quarterback tonight?
I don't know. That's gonna be an interesting one. I guess we'll have to find out when the game starts. But
Well, I'll give you a hint. This just changed. I just heard that Baker Mayfield is not going to play. He's, I guess, injured. So the backup for who was the backup for the Browns? He's going to play the backup quarterback, and then the Broncos have Teddy Bridgewater, which I hope he plays. I hope he's. Have you heard anything about Teddy Bridgewater?
I'm not sure. Did he get nicked up in the last game?
I think he might have gotten nicked up. But I guess the question is, the Broncos are 3-3 and the Browns are 3-3. And the Broncos started out 3-0. Really great start. And then they lost the last three games. And the last one was the Raiders up in Denver. And then the Browns have, obviously they were hoping for the playoffs. So if you had to pick, who would be your pick? The Broncos going to the Browns. What are your thoughts?
Oh man, it's gonna be a really tough one. It's gonna be a good game, exciting game. It's gonna be a crazy environment in Cleveland. My mom is from Cleveland, and those Browns fans, they are truly die-hard fans. I mean, win or lose, rain, snow, whatever it may be, they're gonna be out there. So it's gonna be a tough environment to play in, but missing Baker Mayfield is going to be a huge problem for the Browns. So, no disrespect to whoever their backup may be. I'm not really sure at this point. But Baker Mayfield is a very dynamic player, so when you don't have him in the roster or in the lineup, your offense is going to take a hit. So I think Denver will pull this game out. I think they have a solid team. They've lost the last 3 games, but I mean, stuff like that happens in the NFL. It's a league of parity, and there's a lot of good players out there. So, but I think Denver's going to take this one.
Well, I think you're right. I think I'm going to go with Denver too. But if Teddy Bridgewater does not play, and that's the question, and for anyone that's betting at the last minute, if Teddy Bridgewater does not play, I would switch my bet to Cleveland. So,
guess we'll have to find out. Game time decision.
yep, that's where we go. Game time decision. All right, Sunday, the Chiefs are going to the Titans, and the Titans they seem to be on the on the rise. The Titans are 4-2, and Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are 3-3. So, what are your thoughts on that game?
That's going to be a very good game as well. Tennessee is a very good team. They've got probably, in my opinion, the MVP of the league, Derrick Henry. I mean, I've seen that guy in person. I mean, he's even bigger in person than he looks on TV, which is crazy. But I mean, the things he can do on the field is just superhuman. Nobody wants to tackle him out there, especially when you get into these months where the weather starts to drop a little bit, gets a little bit cold, guys start making a little bit more business decisions. And for me, noticing him run this year, he looks like he's running really angry, and that's something that you didn't really see out of Derrick Henry much. A guy who just ran behind his pads, but he's doing that a lot this year, so that's making guys not want to tackle him even more. So, um, Chiefs having a tough year what they're compared to. I think they'll bounce back, but not this game. I think the Titans will win it.
Yeah, yeah, Derrick Henry, he's looking like he really wants to get a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, that's a man on a mission. You see his off-season training videos. He was training all off-season. Such guy stays in phenomenal shape. I mean, he's different. He's different.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of when Walter Payton and Jerry Rice, the way they used to work out, and
Oh
you know,
yeah,
it seems like Derrick Henry, he wants to be in that conversation.
yeah. One of the great. And I mean, he's showing it. I mean, he could rush for 2,000 yards again this year. Nobody's ever done that twice in a row.
Wow. Yeah, right. I remember when O.J. Simpson, who was my hero, he did it back in the early '70s, and then
Yeah.
guys have been doing it. Yeah, but that would be Eric Dickerson do 2000, and then who was the other? There was another one. There's just about a
John
handful.
had it recently, and then Adrian Peterson
Adrian Peterson. Yep. But very few.
had it last year. So
Yep. That would be amazing. Well, I guess the next game, the Panthers go to New York to take on the New York Giants. The Panthers are 3-3, and the New York Giants are 1-5. I don't know what I tell you. If Christian McCaffrey comes back, I'm going with the Panthers, but who knows? I don't know if he's well yet.
kind of reports seems like it's a little more serious than what we initially thought with him. So hopefully he comes back in good health and come back when he's really ready. Hopefully he doesn't rush it back. But I think the Panthers still pull this game out. I think they have a really solid team. Giants are struggling a little bit. They've got some key players nicked up right now, banged up. So they got to get a little healthy right now. And, even though the Panthers are missing Christian, which is a huge part of their offense, I think they have enough weapons outside of him to be effective still. So I think the Panthers will pull that one out.
Okay, well, I'm just moving over here to get my power so I don't go out on power here. My battery is getting low. Okay. So I guess the next game, so you're taking the Panthers next game, Jets go to New England, the Patriots. Boy, both teams, the Jets are 1-4 and the Patriots are 2-4. What are your thoughts on that game, Quenton?
Oh man, it's crazy. You're not really used to seeing the Patriots in this spot. Um, been the beacon of success in this league for the longest time since I can remember. So they're in a little unfamiliar spot right now. They have a rookie quarterback that is doing a good job. They both have rookie quarterbacks, them and the Jets. So it's going to be a tough game, but I think the Patriots will pull this one out. You know, it's going to be a close one in my opinion, but I think the Patriots will pull it out.
Okay, well, Patriots, we'll put you down for the Patriots. And yeah, I mean, I think Bill Belichick, I've always been a Bill Belichick fan as far as his coaching. And
Oh,
I'm sure it's killing him that he's 2-4. I don't recall Bill Belichick ever being 2-4 for too long.
yeah.
Okay, now the Washington football team heads to Green Bay. Washington's 2-4. Green Bay's 5-1, and I think I know who you're going to go with this because we talked about how Derrick Henry wants to win a Super Bowl. Well, I know that there's a guy that wants to win his second Super Bowl, and that's Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, for sure. Aaron Rodgers is a man on a mission right now. He's obviously a share owner of the Bears organization because he was letting the fans know last week that he owns them. So, I love Aaron Rodgers. I love his confidence as a person. And I love his drive. He's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play. And, I think that after the first game they lost this year, they've been on a hot streak since then. And him and Devontae Adams are on a mission this year. And, I think they'll get that one too.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to agree with you. That the Packers should win that one at home. And then the Falcons, 2-3 Falcons, go to the 1-5 Dolphins. And obviously, the
Hmm.
Dolphins put a lot of their stake into Tua, but Tua, I don't think I think he's hurt. And Tua, so what are your thoughts about that game? Falcons going to Miami.
Wow, it's tough, because the Dolphins don't have Tua right now. Heard some rumors about maybe Deshaun Watson coming on board with them. I don't know, rumors how they go. So we'll see how that kind of turns out. But I really root for Tua. I hope he just gets healthy. Number one, as a person, as a human, that's more important than this game at the end of the day. But I think it'll be when you're missing your starting quarterback like that, it's going to be tough for the Dolphins. I think Atlanta, even they're kind of struggling this year. They still have Matt Ryan. They still have a solid team, so I think they'll get that win out versus the Dolphins with Tua being out.
Okay. Well, the Falcons, they're picking the Falcons. Okay. And that the next game, the Cincinnati Bengals, which are 4-2, go to Baltimore, and the Ravens are doing pretty good. They're 5-1.
Yes, Baltimore is red hot after that opening game loss against the Raiders on Monday night. They've stepped their game up. And even that game, they played the Raiders really tough. So, I think that they'll pull this game out as well. Cincinnati have a good team this year. Great bounce back from what they've done the past couple seasons. But I think Baltimore is a little bit too tough of an opponent for them right now. And I think they'll pull that one out. What Lamar Jackson's doing is just ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a great and there's a quarterback. Boy, would he like to get a Super Bowl ring too.
Oh yeah, yeah. He reminds me where he's kind of going through a little bit what Peyton Manning did early in his career. Peyton Manning, great in the regular season, but people would always criticize him for his playoff record. Um, and people understand, it's a team game. It's not wins and losses aren't just on the quarterback, especially in the playoffs. So, Peyton got that off his back once he won the Super Bowl, and once Lamar wins his, because I feel like it was going to come soon. He'll get that off of his back as well. But it's unfortunate people do that to tear great players down. They just try to find whatever it is. They did the same thing to Peyton and
Yeah.
with Lamar. So.
Well, this could be Lamar's year if they keep going the Ravens. So okay, so you're going with the Ravens over the Bengals.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Now the next game, a very interesting game. Uh, Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford facing their former team. So the Lions go to Los Angeles.
Ooh, wow.
I know. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that? The Lions have not won a game this year, and the Rams are 5-1. Wow.
Yeah, it's been a rough go for Jared Goff. Since being on a new team in Detroit, I think Sam Bradford definitely got the better of the deal because he went to a better team a little bit. No disrespect to the Lions, though. Every NFL team has talent, but they're just struggling this year, and I think that they'll continue to versus the Rams. Rams have a very good defense. They didn't really show that against the Cardinals, but the Cardinals have the best offense in the league right now. So, um, everybody's having a hard time stopping them. So, Rams have a solid defense, solid offense as well. They got weapons all over the field, superstars on both sides of the ball. So, I think the Rams would get that one pretty easily. Unfortunately for Jared Goff going back to his hometown, but
Yeah.
home team. But
Yeah. Home team. Well, the next game, so you're going with definitely going with the hometown Rams in that game. The next game, the Bears go down to Tampa Bay. Uh, and rookie starting quarterbacks are 5-20 versus Tom Brady. So the Bears have a rookie starting quarterback, and they're going against Tom Brady down in Tampa Bay. What are your thoughts?
yeah, I mean, there's a reason why that record is what it is. I mean, Tom Brady. I mean, he's the GOAT, arguably the GOAT. I'll always put Peyton Manning in that category as well. I think it's like 1A, 1B, But Tom Brady is the GOAT. And, the way he is, I can't go against him. Like, it's very hard for me to go against Tom Brady. Um, and he's having probably the best year of his career at age 44, which is unreal. But it's just a testament to what he puts in his body. He takes very, very good care of his nutrition. He's very strict on his diet and what he puts in his body. Similar to like our message with Euphoria. And he is like the beacon for success and longevity in all the sports. I mean, for him to do what he does at 44, and he looks like he's 20 years old playing out there, the way his body's moving. Um, I just don't have enough great things to say um, about Tom Brady because he just, I, I look up to the man. I think I respect his greatness. So um, I think that they'll pull that one out pretty easily.
Okay. All right. The Bucks over the Bears. The next game, wow, the 1-5 Texans, Deshaun Watson's team, who, I'm sure the Texans didn't want to be 1-5. They go to Arizona to play the 6-0 Cardinals.
Yeah, playing their old teammate too, DeAndre Hopkins, and ever since they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, they've been struggling in Houston, and I mean it's just tough when D Hop is honestly, I mean, I think he's the best in the league, or 1A and 1B. Like I mean, I've seen him do some just crazy stuff against some of the best corners of all time. I mean, I've seen him go against Jalen Ramsey, and those battles were just unreal. So I think the Cardinals' offense is going crazy, and nobody can really stop them. And I don't think that'll change this week. Um, and I think that they'll get the win.
Okay. So the Cardinals will go 7-0. And by the way, interesting statistic, Quenton, 32.3 points per game this season for the Cardinals. That's the most since 1948.
Wow,
The
that's
Cardinals know how to put the points up on the board.
yes, they do. That offense, Cliff Kingsbury. Like, I mean, people were kind of talking about it when he first got in the league. It's calling it a college offense, but I mean, it's showing what it can do. That fast pace, spreading the ball around, and then you have the point guard and Kyler Murray who just gets into his playmakers and makes plays when he needs to. Nobody in the league can extend the plays like Kyler Murray can, and I mean, it's just they're a fun team to watch on offense.
Yeah, should be a fun game. And then the final two games we got the final game Sunday game we've got it's at 5 o'clock or 5:20 Pacific, 8:20 Eastern. The Colts go to the 49ers. Both teams are they've won two games. The Colts are 2-4, and the 49ers didn't expect to be 2-3 at this point. And Indianapolis has won 4 straight games versus San Francisco. What are your thoughts on this game?
That's going to be a tough one. I think they're both two very good teams, despite what their records show. I think that they're going to both be good teams here, either this year or in the future. I feel like they both have the potential to turn around this season. But I'm gonna go with the 49ers on this one. They were at home Sunday night. Don't have to make the cross country trip. And I think that they'll get the win.
Okay. Well, the final game Monday night, this coming Monday night, the New Orleans Saints, 3-2 New Orleans Saints, which many people picked to do really well this year, are going to Seattle, which is, as we know, a tough place to play.
Yes,
The
it is.
2-4 Seahawks. What are your thoughts on this game?
It's going to be a tough game. It's always tough going to play Seattle. But I think that, dang, that's going to be a tough. Because it's so tough to play at Seattle. And it's going to be Monday night. But I'm going to go with the Saints. I think they have a really solid team on all sides of the ball. And when Jameis plays consistent, I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. That's just the question. Like, what Jameis are you going to get on Monday night? If you get the good Jameis, I think that they'll win pretty good. But if you get the inconsistent Jameis, then I think the Seahawks might pull it out. But I think they'll get the good Jameis, and I think the Saints will win.
Okay. Well, you know what? We're going to transition now to college football. And since you were a star in the Pac 12, we're going to just go down the list of the Pac 12 games coming up this weekend. And our Stanford Cardinal have a bye weekend. And Stanford, as you know, we lost a tough one last week against Washington State. And I would like to have you have a comment. The Washington State game, I mean, it was a tough loss for us, but they fired the coach at Washington State. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, that's happened a lot in this country right now, around the world. I'm in the same boat as the Washington State coach. But it's unfortunate that that's people's jobs are being taken away because they don't necessarily feel comfortable with, what's going on, and they have good reason. I'm not for or against, people taking the vaccine. I just feel like it should be everybody's choice. That's what the Washington State coach feels like as well. And, the fact that his job got taken away because of it, my job got taken away and I'm not getting opportunities because of it. It's pretty sad. I never thought that this country would come to this point. And you're seeing a lot of people now who are getting it. They're not getting it because they want to do it for their health. They're doing it because they want to keep their jobs. And, that's really the unfortunate part, because people aren't making this what's supposed to be a health decision. They're not making it based on their health. They're making it based off of, keeping food on the table. And I never thought we'd come to this point as a country. It's pretty sad. It's pretty disturbing and discriminatory. But I think, he's just came out that he's taking a lawsuit out um, because of it. So my hat goes off to him. Hope him much success in that case, and hopefully that'll open the doors for a lot more cases like this, like that, because it shouldn't be this way.
Well, well said, Quentin. I mean, it's an amazing time we live in, and it's just feel help praying for those people that are out there that are having to make the decision. But most important thing is you get back to your health, is keeping your immune system up. I do think that I believe that we will have a test, whether it's immune, your immune system or your antibodies. And if someone has strong antibodies and an immune system, perhaps they don't need to have a test. I mean, we don't talk about that often. So it'd be interesting. Hopefully, people and the researchers will talk more about if someone is very strong, and for example, a NFL football player. I don't think any NFL football player has died from COVID.
No,
Um,
not
no,
one.
not one. But I think the rebuttal to that is, well, you can be asymptomatic and you could
Pass it on.
pass it on. That's the argument. So
That is the argument. My argument is that before COVID-19 came around, before you know this happened, like coronavirus has been around forever. Um, and every time we go outside, every time we walk around, we're exposed to viruses and diseases every day, literally every day. And the reason why we don't get sick 24/7 is because we have an immune system to protect us. So when you feed your immune system the right stuff, the right nutrients, the right vitamins, um, and that's what our company is all about, bringing the immune system and the anti-inflammatory system into homeostasis so that your body can do what it's functioning to do. Like our bodies are the most high-tech technology machines in the world. Like there's nothing else that compares to the human body, no technology out there, and we take that for granted a lot of times. And that's why I'm so passionate about euphoria science, because I really want to share with people, like, this is the key to health. Like, it says right here, um, health is a habit, not an event. And like, it's like anything. If you want to have a strong immune system, you have to consistently do what you need to do to strengthen your immune system. And there's science, plenty of science out there that says that vitamins and nutrition is the way to go to live healthier. Even the creator of mRNA vaccines, Robert Malone, says that vitamins are the way to protect yourself against COVID. So the fact that that's not an option, and if you want to get the vaccine too. That's an option as well. I'm not, someone that says that it shouldn't be available. Like if people want to take the vaccine, then go ahead and take the vaccine. But there are other ways to protect yourself, and you know, I just hope to share that message with as many people as possible, and hopefully else.
well, thank you for sharing your message, Quentin. And I guess we're transitioning to the Pac-12. Arizona State and Stanford are off this weekend, and Washington is taking on Arizona. Arizona has not won a game this year. They're 0-6, and Washington is 2-4. I don't think we've ever seen that in the Pac-12, where Washington is 2-4 and Arizona is 0-6. What about that game?
Yeah, Washington is the big surprise, because here recently Washington has been one of the contenders in the Pac-12 every year. I know, especially ever since I got to Stanford, they have been. So it's a little bit surprised, but I mean, it's hard to have success every year, year in and year out. Like that's very, very rare. I think people see, Alabama and think that happens everywhere. But that doesn't happen everywhere. A lot of people don't know everything Alabama is doing to make that happen. But we're not going to get into all of that. But it's hard to win consistently every year. Um, So these two teams are showing that. I think Washington will get the win because, like, I think that they have their program. They have a solid foundation in that program. So that's a team and program I don't really expect to ever be down for too long. So I think they'll get the win in that one.
Okay. And here's a game: Colorado, which is 2-4, go to the University of California, Berkeley. Cal to take on the Cal Bears, who are 1-5. Boy, this is these are two teams that they both want to. I mean, I'm sure that Colorado does not want to go 2-5, and Cal does not want to go 1-6.
Definitely not. Gosh, those our crosstown rivals. It's usually hard for them up there. So they're having another tough year this year, unfortunately. But it's kind of like a love-hate relationship. Like we like to give those guys a hard time, but in the back of our minds, we really root for them because we respect what they do in the classroom as well. Um, but I think that Colorado is going to get this win and beat them. I think they play a little more consistent this year, but that game could really go either way.
Yep. Yeah, it's a pick 'em game. But Cal actually is giving Colorado 8.5 points, which is gosh, that's interesting. Colorado minus 8.5. Well, that's good. That's in, and they think it's going to be a low scoring game. The over under is 44. So,
Oh, okay, yeah.
yep. Okay, so now the BYU Cougars are going to Washington. They're going from Utah up to Washington State. They're playing Washington State after Washington State fired their coach,
Mm-hmm.
and BYU's 5-2, and Washington State's 4-3.
Uh, you know, I'm gonna have to go with BYU in this one. BYU has been on a hot streak. I think they've lost the last two, but they started off 5-0, and I guess I'm a little bit biased because one of my best friends plays for BYU, D'Angelo Mandel. We went to the same high school in San Diego, um, and so like he's playing for BYU. He's their number one corner, having a good year this year. So I'm happy for him, and they have a good team. So, um, usually I would want to go with the Pac-12 and root for them. But we're picking who we think is going to win, and I genuinely think that BYU will get that win.
Well, and the other thing too is Washington State fired their head coach, and then there's 2 or 3 other coaches.
Yeah.
So I mean, can you imagine? Could you imagine 2 or 3 of your coaches? 1 week they're there, and the next week they're gone. I think BYU, Washington State. That's going to be tough for them to overcome, but we'll see.
Yes, it will. A lot of emotions going into that, so
Yeah.
it's going to be tough to overcome that in 1 week.
Now, another good game, a team that's really kind of up and coming, and I think the coach there has done a heck of a job. Oregon State is playing at home. They're 4-2, and the University of Utah goes to Oregon State goes to Corvallis to take on Oregon State. So Utah versus Oregon State.
Oh man, that's going to be a tough one because Corvallis is a very hard place to play. I'm gonna pick Oregon State in this one. Utah has got a great program, but it is very hard to play at Oregon State. I mean, I remember my last year at Stanford, 2017. We were supposed to beat Oregon State pretty bad up there, and they almost won. Like it was a low-scoring game, and they took it to us. I mean, that was a dogfight, and the stadium was crazy. And it's getting close to Halloween, so I mean, fans get a little wild up there.
They got the right colors, right? The orange and black.
Exactly. So, they bring that chainsaw out in Oregon State with Beavers. It's like, man, those fans get wild, and it's like that's an environment you play in. Like you can really feel the crowd, and I mean, people that affects you as a player. So. I think that's going to be a tough environment to play, and I think Oregon State will pull that out.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned tough place to play. my freshman year, which was 1979. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember we went to Corvallis and they beat us.
Yeah.
Beat us. And it was on a crazy play. I mean, it was a guy named Rick Jervis.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rick was a defensive back, played for the 49ers and got a Super Bowl ring with Bill Walsh. Well, he
Okay.
was he was returning a kickoff and he caught the ball like on the 1 yard line, and then he stepped back in the. He started to run out. Well, actually, you know what? He might have caught it in the end zone, and he ran out, and then he went back into the end zone, thinking he was going to down it, and they
Yeah.
called it a safety,
Oh no.
and they beat us by 1 or 2 points, and
Oh, that's got to be the worst,
it
man.
was the worst. And I just remember how the spirit of those Oregon State Beavers, they were so, and I think that's been that way. When you go into Corvallis, they get up for games. It's because I think they play that underdog card where they say, "Oh, you just think we're just little Beavers. You're
Yeah.
just gonna mop us up."
Yeah.
No,
But yeah, that's how they think, and
yeah, yeah.
that's
So
how.
okay, well here's a big one, and this is a big one every year. It's one of the classic rivals in all of college football. USC goes to South Bend to take on Notre Dame. USC 3-3. Notre Dame's 5-1.
Yes. This is the the two schools that I don't really have too much great things to say about, but I have respect for their programs historically. Just these are two programs that have a lot of arrogance about themselves because of their history and because of who they are, and the two programs that try to live off of that. Yes, I'm going in on them a little bit, but I have good reason to. I think that Notre Dame will pull this game out. I think that USC is struggling a little bit this year, and Notre Dame, say what you want about them, but they do play physical football. And not saying USC doesn't, but I don't think it's as physical as Notre Dame. Just coming from experience when I played against the team. So it definitely was a more physical game when we played Notre Dame versus when we played USC. So I think that going up to South Bend, that's a tough environment to play. I do have fond memories of that because I did have a pick six in South Bend against Notre Dame. So, I got to shush the crowd too. Oh, that felt great. So
Wow.
it is
Well, you
good.
had a pick six in South Bend, and you had a pick six in the Rose Bowl
Yes.
in front of 100,000 people.
Yes.
Wow.
Those are my claim to fame moments.
Well,
But
that's and you know what they say, everyone has 15 seconds of fame. Well, that was probably more than 15 seconds, right?
I think you've added both together is about 30. So I got about 30 good seconds in.
So you're picking Notre Dame.
Yes, I'm gonna pick Notre Dame in that. I just think they play a physical style of play, and going up to South Bend, that's gonna be tough for USC to match in that cold weather. It's probably gonna be cold. So
Gotcha. Okay, and you know what? There's a game that I failed to in many of my friends from UCLA and my friends from Oregon. I apologize, but we left you out. Oregon is ranked number 10. They're 5-1, and that one defeat was Stanford.
yep.
Beat the Ducks. And UCLA is 5-2. The Ducks come to the Rose Bowl to take on the Bruins, and the Bruins are favored. It's a pick'em game. They're only going to give 1.5 points. And what are your thoughts on that game, Quenton?
This is gonna be a highly emotional game because Chip Kelly's playing his old team, so that's gonna be fun. They have two. I mean, they play the same style of play. Oregon hasn't changed their philosophy of football since Chip Kelly left. They still run that high-paced spread offense. And UCLA has just adopted that same mentality. From watching them a little bit over the past year, and then seeing both of them like against us, when Oregon played us versus where UCLA played us. I think UCLA has the better team overall. I think that they have more weapons, a little bit more than Oregon does, like just across the board. And them going to the Rose Bowl, Chip Kelly's going to get his squad ready to play his old team. Whatever he's got to do to motivate them, he's going to do that. He's going to have some tricks up his sleeve because he's got to show the team what's up. So I think UCLA will pull that one out, but I think it'd be a very close game though.
Yep. Well, that should be a good game, and that'll be a wrap on this week, Quenton. And just want to let everyone know that if you want to know more about Euphoria Science, Quenton's email address is being flashed right around right there at the bottom, and that's your phone number, Quenton, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you can get in touch with Quenton if you have any questions about Euphoria Science and what makes it different than nutrition that you're getting, and how DNA having nutrition based on your DNA is so unique and helpful for your body. And then also, if you want to know what it's like to have your own virtual dispensary, Quenton has his own virtual dispensary, and we know cannabis is growing here in Las Vegas. They're having one of the biggest cannabis conventions in North America this week, and very exciting. Cannabis is a growing industry. And again, Quenton, we're going to be back on again next week. We try to come on Wednesdays, right, Quenton?
Yes, and we'll be back on Wednesday next week.
We'll be back on Wednesdays next week. And Quenton, as we do Quenton Meeks on the dot, you get to have the last word, brother.
I appreciate you having me on here every week. Just excited to teach people about Euphoria, teach people about their health and wellness, and how important it is to know what you're putting in your body and do it the right way so that you can really live healthier. And being you really never felt better. I'm glad I'm starting my program now, my DNA formula now. I understand my genetics more than ever. And I feel great. I felt great out there at the camp yesterday, performing and competing against guys. It felt good to be out there competing again after months of not doing that. And I feel better than I did before I left. So I attribute a lot of that to Euphoria and me being on this program, and I'm just excited to share with people.
Thank you, Quenton.
Thank you, Dot. Appreciate you.
We love you, and love to everyone out there. Have a terrific Thursday, and we'll be back on Quenton Meeks on the dot next Wednesday, and we'll talk about your picks.
Oh, yes. Look forward to it.
Thanks, Q.
Yeah.